Welcome, welcome, welcome. Potent Podcast episode 10. We did it. Trills,
Wow,
that's
we made it
10.
to 10.
You know what? It's 11 technically if you
Yeah,
if you count the battle
right.
episode, but 10 officially
Yeah.
of our own. That's good, man. So how we feeling about this? Cuz I just thought about it right now when it was coming out of my mouth, like when I was saying it. I didn't even think that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either. But I mean, look, man, it's the first milestone, man.
Yep. For sure, for sure. I'm pumped now. Now I'm with it. So what you been
Listen,
up to,
man,
bro?
it takes a lot, yo, for people to do anything 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Like committing to doing anything.
That's the same thing. Like last week's episode, like I just put it up. Like it was sitting on the laptop. Literally, all I had to do was just really trim it and put it on, and it's finally up. But you know what? Last episode, obviously we talked about a lot of heavy stuff, but thank you to everybody that listened. Gave feedback. I got a lot of feedback from people. Some of the things that I said, a lot of people did. Not a lot of people, but some people didn't agree with. But we had good conversations about it.
Right.
But I'm glad that people, actually tuned in because that was a really important episode for me to make sure that we told you guys how we felt.
It was.
Um, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you been like, all right, so like slowly but surely, things around here in our area in Jersey are opening back up. Have you been out anywhere in any type of, bigger situation besides, because I know you were at protests and things like that, but have you been out like in other places yet?
No actual functions, no actual dinners, no bars, no drinking, nothing like that.
So what would like when do you all right, so obviously you're not gonna have a date, right? It's only gonna feel right at a certain point, right? Where it's like,
Right.
okay, this feels right. So like do you know, like, as you see, things opening up more, as you see the weather the way it is, like, do you like, are you getting closer to it? Or are you just like still like I'm done
You
with it?
know what? I've kind of like driven by some places that were
Mhm.
like operating, and to me, like I saw some stuff that I was like, nah, that's too crazy. Like the lines are too crazy, people too close,
Right.
all of that. But I did see like a couple of things that looked like they were organized well. Lines were spaced out. Uh, Outside seating was distanced enough. The
Mm.
people that were sitting there still had masks on. They were just removing it as they needed to. Wait staff had masks and gloves. So if I feel like it's like that and it's that controlled, then yeah, I could see myself doing.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, I saw the same thing. So like, I'm starting to see things online, like I'm in people's stories. I see dudes with haircuts. Meanwhile, I want to label this episode "True Life." I miss my barber. Um, but I see people with haircuts. I see people at two and three different functions in the same week.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not gonna lie. This past Friday, I was somewhat partaking in like, all right, I got drunk for sure outside. So
yeah,
basically, the town that I'm from, Hoboken, everything is to go drinks, right?
yeah,
Like every bar, right, is to go drinks. So when you go, you just pick them up, and like I even asked, I'm like, all right, so can I drink this walking? Like, what's the point? So you mean to tell me, like, with these rules, I have to go get the to go drink and then go home? Why?
right,
Why would I do that?
right,
Why would anybody do that? It's not legal in Jersey. It's one of the few places, like, in the country or whatever, that doesn't allow,
right.
drinking outdoors or anything like that. So it was weird for me, right? Where I was like, you know, I don't get why, we are gonna be buying these. My bad. I'm in a draft right now. Um, Deshaun Watson. And I'm not gonna be able to drink these while walking. So the guy's like, look, yo, yeah, it's not, but yeah, like it's kind of lax. Like, so, like, I'm up by the water in Hoboken and I'm getting a drink from there, like it's a lemonade or whatever, and I'm sitting, popping the top on it. They don't give you a straw because then the straw looks,
Right.
looks very obvious.
Right.
Because ain't no dude gonna be walking around drinking pink lemonade or whatever normally. I mean, right, maybe they will or whatever. You know what I mean? But they're gonna be like, this like his fifth cup, bro. Like, what? So they allowed us to do that, and yeah, I got drunk. So all right, this was the final test, right? So like it was getting later. You know, I dropped my daughter off early in the day. I went, and I went by the water. I was, I had my music on. I was just sitting, just chilling. Like basically, I really wanted to be outside no matter what. Like not just everybody was away from each other. I'm not gonna hold you on that one either. Like even everybody online was away from each other. Yeah. So I went down on Washington Street to one of the places, and they were doing the drinks, but they were doing it with the idea of, okay, you have a drink from here in front of the storefront, you can chill and drink, like no seats, no nothing, right? But everybody's away from each other for real though. Like honestly, like I was surprised too. I mean, and I probably was at the point, like at the like that point of night, like where I would have made a stupid decision and be like, nah, we good, let's just go, whatever, you know what I mean? But people are still conscious of it. Nobody was wearing a mask because you drinking at a bar or whatever.
Right.
It got to like, you got to remember all the responsible people like yourself, like a lot of other people are working Friday during the day, which is why I chose to go, and just, I'm like, okay, I can go and socially distance because there shouldn't be people out, and it was definitely true.
Yeah.
But I saw it happening. Like I saw the crowd starting to come, and I was like, I gotta get home. I gotta get out of here. Yeah, no, I gotta get out of here. And for sure, once everybody got off or were done working or whatever, because you also have to remember people are still going to the office too. Not everybody's working from home. Right. I would guess a large majority of the people from Hoboken were working from home, but I can't say that for certain. So everybody starts pulling up, and I go. And then, of course, that's Friday night. Saturday, oh, man, it's starting to look like regular shit. It's like that meme, right? They're like Spice Adams around the tree, and he's like, rolling a guy's outfit laid out for this, like this second wave is going to hit kind of crazy or whatever because people are desperate to get outside. Not that I blame people, but, in those areas and stuff like that, when you're used to, like, if you live in Hoboken, you live for the bar scene. Like, you didn't go there, like, settle down, pretty much. So,
plus, I mean, we don't get this for long, bro. Like, summer is like 2
it's almost over.
Yeah. So, people don't want to throw their whole summer away. I get it.
Yeah, so that was my experience. I wound up getting home, and then like you ever have that moment? I mean, you probably relate to this. You ever have that moment where you're looking and you're like, "Whoa, I'm drunk."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, "Whoa, I'm drunk. I'm drunk." Like I'm feeling it. I'm sure that my words are slurred. Like bet that I was out from 11 a.m. to like 7:30, and I was in bed by like 9. Out. Washed. Completely washed, bro. Washed out.
That's crazy.
All right, so that's my like getting outside story, like I don't know, like it happened kind of like off the cuff. Like I thought I was gonna sit, have 1 or 2 drinks, and then that shit like when the drink hits a little bit too much, you're listening to the music and you're like, let the good times roll, you know what I mean? Like, cause you don't want to go right back home. So that's what happened with me, honestly. So all right, fuck all that. So before we get into everything, I wanted to talk about something that, like I was worried about when all these protests and things started. Was, like there's direct correlation between Black Lives Matter protesters and mysterious murders or mysterious deaths, right?
Right.
Like there's been like 5 hangings across America, 1 in Manhattan Park. Suicide in the park?
Come on.
Like that's heartbreaking, but it's like you read the story. I don't want to mispronounce her name. Tanyan, is it the young lady who tweeted about her sexual assault?
Yeah.
And then ended up missing?
Yeah, Toya and I think. Right.
That shit is heartbreaking, man. Like I don't understand like the evil that's still out there. Like if you guys think that this shit is over, like we had a successful week or 2, it's not gonna take 3 weeks to knock down everything that's been instituted. Like I've seen disgusting videos of people defending Columbus statues, and like it's just like it's still like it's the pushback. The pushback is still happening. You would think that people at this point would already be like, okay, let's listen, but they're not stopping on the other side. They're not stopping, and there's that's not me again. That's not me watching the news. That's not me. I'm seeing this from people's phones. I'm seeing this from what people are reporting. Reporters are reporting, not from CNN, things like that. Like it's just when you hear the story of the young lady and then you hear about these people and it's like, man, there's so much more fucking work to do and there's so much evil still out there, bro. Like this shit is like, it's heartbreaking, man. Like I tried to tweet through it and shit. Like I tweet about it and then I'll like try to tweet some other shit and shit still don't really feel right. It's weird, man. I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's brutal, man. It's a lot to do, man. It's ain't, once we start combing through one thing and another thing pop up and another thing pop up. I mean, we can't forget that even before this, before COVID, before a lot of stuff, we had school shootings, right? So now that's on the decline for now, and that's probably only because nobody been in school. So like, this fucking country's gonna jump from one thing to the next to the next to the next until everything gets dismantled, and that's gonna take a long time. So if you win the fight, be prepared to be in it.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is a fucking lot, man. It's just like when you think that things are slowing down, like I said, you think that people are starting to come to their senses. You're like, no, like they aren't. They're fighting back even worse, man. Like this defense of Christopher Columbus, I would never understand. I just don't get it. We already talked about it, but I still don't understand it. Like, if you don't get it now, like now what? Like now you're just deliberately, I mean, even though you've been deliberately.
Oh yeah.
So in that respect, so there was a story that came out with two NYPD cops who went to Shake Shack. And they were, what is it? They were drugged? What? Would they have bleach in it? Hold up, wait, where's the drug? Hold on. Hey yo, what the fuck? All right, look, I get it, right? There's a lot of cops, people want to make changes, things like that. If that really happened, please, I hope that's not what you guys are doing. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. But hasn't it been, reported? Like, you tell me if you can confirm this, that it was all fake, that there's nothing like that they were trying to say that or whatever. Like, Shake Shack has cleared them of any wrongdoing.
That's some bullshit. They tried to say that the milkshakes were poison, but after they looked into it, they just found out that like they were like shut down or not operating properly for a long time, and they hadn't cleaned the machines. Mm-hmm. So they got sick from the milkshakes because the fucking machines were dirty.
So what? Their tummy hurt a little?
That's what I'm like, bro. Yo, this is the funny shit to me, right? Because I have fucking a slight intolerance to lactose. So like, if me and four of my family members go to a Shake Shack on any given day and we all order milkshakes, bro, if we ain't take pills, bro, we all shitting like crazy, bro. Like, what we go like?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Hey, bro, your first thought is we were poisoned? Like, what?
That's just convenient to say that right then.
What really, like, had me bugging when I read that was, there's this, like, dumb shit. It's really dumb. That certain Nazis believe, right? That they are the superior race because they can ingest milk with no problem. Like that's a theory of theirs, and I'm like,
so I'm in. Oh shit!
Like, bro. So all of a sudden, like, what the fucking milkshake was like your kryptonite? Like you're going crazy now because you like.
Now we know how to attack them.
Milkshake.
Now we know how to attack them. Let's spike that milk.
That shit is, yo, bro, that's crazy, bro.
Well, that's really, honestly, the only story that I could find that was like, hey, yo, what the fuck? But it's, it's it was just weird because I felt like it was trying to be blown up, like and like sent somewhere else, like, and it's just like, yo, bro, I had lunch at 2 o'clock. My stomach still hurt. I'll be all right.
What? Come
I
on,
called
man.
out of work. Maybe that's what they trying to do. They're like, yo, I'm about to be in the crib.
Yo,
I can't protest no more.
I ain't trying to go to this protest, bro. My son, like they poisoning us at Shake Shack, fam.
Can I ask you a question? So now that we can we keep it light and everything, where would you rank? Have you ever had In-N-Out? I've never been to Cali to have In-N-Out, so I don't. You have. So you've had In-N-Out, you've had Shake Shack, and you've had Five Guys.
Yes.
Can you please rank the three accordingly for me?
Okay. So here's the thing, right? To make this not seem like some kind of bias, I'll put Fat Burger at the bottom.
Okay.
Shake Shack and In-N-Out are kind of tied.
The same thing?
Different, but certain things makes it a little better. Like if you get like the animal style, then that's kind of popping. But if it's like the straight up burger, I'm gonna go with Shake Shack on that. But okay. Five Guys is top tier, bro.
Yes, and that's all right. So that's where I struggled with it because I've never had In-N-Out, and I've heard from both ends of the spectrum on In-N-Out. I've heard people say it's fire. I've heard people say it's trash, and I've heard all in the middle like, yes, it's a burger, you know?
Right.
Five Guys, for some reason, was the one that I was struggling with when someone asked me about Shake Shack because I like Shake Shack, you know, yeah. I do. But there's something about, I think, the Five Guys, like, and the fries are good at Shake Shack because I like crinkle cut fries. I like those. Those are good. Like, but I also like the ones at Five Guys because they fucking dump the Gatorade bottle all on you with the fucking.
Bro?
You buy a large fry, it's a fucking half a bag.
To me, man, look, it's something about the peanut oil, man. Like the peanut oil makes a fucking banging fry, fam.
Right.
So that's
edges Five Guys. I'm hungry now.
Not to mention, bro, like all of your free toppings, bro. Like it's just unfuckwittable to me.
Okay. I like it. I wish I could because COVID still fucked me up. I had 8 o'clock. They closed, I think. Damn it.
Damn.
Fuck. All right. So we had a versus battle that's announced Juneteenth, which is going to be this Friday. Alicia Keys versus John Legend. I'll let you start.
So we know, right, that these aren't rappers. So because they aren't rappers, this is not going to be set up like a battle. Okay. It's going to be a love fest, right? What I'm really excited about is recent times people been kind of sleep on Alicia Keys.
Really? So that's why I wanted to ask you because I wanted to ask you whose discography are you more familiar with?
Yeah. Because
I will be honest with you. I'm not even going to try to feign like I know Alicia Keys' first album. I probably know John Legend's first, and then I think a little his second. I mainly was in tune with John Legend in that first album because he was with Kanye and shit, and I always wanted to I was, in that. After that, I really, I know the singles. Right. I know the singles, even though that's on the second album, the third album, I know those songs. Right. But I can't say that I'm in tune with either of the discography. So, okay. Yeah, so you would say recently that Alicia Keys' newer music, which I have to be honest with you, maybe this is my own ignorance, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know anything about.
Right. That's not just you.
Okay, cool. So she's just not promoting it. She just.
Yeah, like, you could tell at this point that, like, she's just creating for herself and, like, not going for big records and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And that's part why people haven't heard it and part why it doesn't feel the same. Mm-hmm. But because of that, like, people, I've been seeing it, you tweet and shit, right? You see like whispers of people making jokes and all that shit, and about her songs being in commercials and not want to hear it anymore and all that.
Right.
So she's in the space right now where when they do this battle, people gonna get like a crazy reminder of how many slaps she actually has.
Okay. What I remember from her first album, everybody was in love with Falling, right?
Yeah.
But when I heard the record with the Shimmy Shimmy Ya sample, that was a song where I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is different, like she definitely is like, like I really on that first album was like with her, I'm not certain what it was that knocked me off of the train with her because I was so attracted to her vibe and how she would, in the videos, when again videos mattered, she would be playing her piano and everything, and that shit would be cool, man. She looked like she had a dope mind, and she wanted, like you wanted to sit and speak with her and to know her and shit. But I don't know what it was that like I kind of fell off on, with her. I don't know. Like it's definitely not the allegations or what everybody's all bad at on Twitter or whatever. Look, man, Swiss is gonna leave regardless. That ain't got nothing to do with Alicia, man.
Nah,
that's
not at all.
But they cool now, right? They got pictures together and shit.
That's what I'm saying. The whole family is cool now, where people still be on Twitter mad.
Bring that shit up. Mashonda don't care.
Nah.
Remember when they tried to do Mashonda for a little bit? Like Swiss was like, "I got you. Let's do some. I'm gonna put you on. We'll put you on some Cassidy records. Let's see what happens."
Yeah. It was like they never was giving Mashonda like a look. They never like. You know what I'm saying? Like they never even like tried to figure it out, bro.
I'm not trying to clown on her because like I'm not trying to disrespect women or anything like that.
No, because she was dope and she could actually sing. It's just like you could tell like they weren't like figuring out. You supposed. Well, I guess we were coming to the end of A&Ring, right? So
yes. Oh my God, we deviated from the point so far. So John Legend, are you familiar with his music? Would you say?
Decently, but I think most people would agree with me that John Legend's best music is from that Get Lifted album, that first album.
For sure.
Easily, right?
I love Greenlight though. But I love Greenlight because Andre 3000 is one of the best rappers, which is a good segue into our next topic also. But yes, I think I have to do a little bit of digging. I think that I'm gonna take some time and I'm gonna try to carve some time out on Friday, because I'm gonna drop my daughter off, because I get my 1 day off, and I'm going to sit and listen and try to dig in a little bit more and see, how I think this is gonna go. I thought it was intriguing off the rip, because I'm still waiting for this DMX against Eminem one. I want that shit to happen so bad, so we can crown X. Like it's who was it? Charlamagne was having a discussion with somebody about DMX versus Eminem, and he's like DMX watches him, when it comes to like records, like and I forget. Oh, Fat Joe. Fat Joe was like, what? Washes him. And I get what Charlamagne meant. Like, not wash him. But I think that because of his connection to the hood it matters more. And I think those records are bigger because they're played in places where Eminem doesn't get played, even though DMX isn't played in places that Eminem's played.
Look, if it was going to be like a lyricism battle, then you could say M has the leg up.
Yeah.
But again, we said this before. You talking about being in a forum where the whole hood is coming to watch.
Correct.
And no Slim Shady stuff is fucking with DMX's greatest hits. Not in that arena. It's the wrong arena.
Look, before all this, I'm not going to act like I was in the hood or in hoods. I was in some of them, not some of the worst ones. I don't ever hear anybody driving around listening to Eminem. Not that I hear anybody at this point driving around listening to DMX. But right. I remember when DMX was out here and the difference. The Eminem shit was it almost came off funny in the beginning, right? Like we copped the Slim Shady album because we were like, oh, this white boy saying some crazy shit or whatever, and let's hear. And then when we get to the music, you're like, oh shit, this kid can fucking really rap or whatever. He's not a joke or whatever, The difference is that DMX just fucking out the gate was just everywhere, and that's different. That's always a moment that I will hold on to because I lived through it. And if DMX wasn't your favorite rapper when he was out, you lying to yourself.
Yeah,
because Jay-Z wasn't always my favorite rapper. It became that, but not during that time. Not during that time.
Right.
And I went in through my wave too of where Eminem was my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie too. Like when you're white like this, everybody calls you Eminem, especially when you're trying to rap in school and stuff. So like it's all like it's always that or whatever. And then I always felt like when I rapped in high school or whatever, when I rapped in circles, like I feel like people were just taken by, oh wow, he's rapping and he's white like that or whatever. Like it's more like they gave me more looks because I was white instead of like because I was better. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm better than anybody. They would just be like, I'm surprised that you can rap that well, if that's even a thing, if you get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like condescending, almost like, oh shit, man, like how all right, I don't hate to make it heavy, but you know how like black women have been saying, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. I feel like that's less. I'm not trying to attribute it to that because that's completely different.
We get the comparison that you're making.
Yeah, so that's what I meant by it. Like, and then later on when you get better is when you're good with everybody else. But I feel like in the beginning it was almost like a novelty act. Like I think that's kind of what they went with. All right, so Alicia John Legend, give me your prediction. It sounds like you're on the side of Alicia Keys, if I was guessing.
If we're gonna actually put song for song up and see who edges who out on which songs, I think play in the right positions, Alicia has the leg up for sure.
Okay. I am gonna do my own research and I'm gonna save my own prediction and I'm just gonna enjoy the battle on Friday. So I put you on the spot, but I don't gotta be on the spot because I'm ignorant and I'm not aware. So that's how you do it. That's what a good host does. He takes care of himself. All right. So in the midst of everything, Dave Chappelle dropped a brand new special that was on YouTube. Did you get a chance to watch it all?
I did, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all of it was funny.
I think people were shocked at that too. Like, I mean, everybody rolled with it, right? Like, because it was so compelling. But I think
it was real.
Right.
I think it's something that everybody kind of needed to hear from Dave because Dave has that sort of platform where Dave can talk about those things. He'll make you chuckle. But if he don't want to make you laugh, you're still going to sit there and listen to him about it because he still gets it across in a way that is impactful. Before we get into the heavy shit, did you hear the Azalea Banks part?
Yeah, bro.
Yo.
Yo, Dick.
So look, this is the best part, and this is what makes it genius. So if you guys don't know, do you remember the line or whatever? Something about if I hit it, I'ma tell like Azalea Banks or some shit like that, right? Like, so this is this man in his genius bag, and I'm gonna tell you why. He didn't deny it, and I think that even if he didn't, it's good that he didn't deny it. Like, let us think whatever. Right, and you're still gonna get laughs off it because at the end of the day, what's every toxic dude's favorite saying? Still beat though, so can't take it back. You can't take it back. So
I mean, the brilliance of it too is that he knows for a fact that if he denies it, he's giving everybody on Twitter the fuel that they want to be like. They lie on their dick anyway. I ain't going, and try to make it seem like he throwing her out there. Like, so the smart thing was to make the joke about it exactly the way he did it.
As usual, the man is perfect with the material that he's given, and he just, so I that was one of the parts where I was like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but when he talks about, watching what happened to George, again, we talked about it ourselves, right? Like, I almost had, I've had discussions with other black people who have said the same thing, that they saw George's video and they were like, that's horrible, nothing's going to happen, and just kept it moving. Mm-hmm. Not because they didn't care, it's just they kind of just, again, were programmed, we're desensitized, all those things. when he starts to talk about how he said he saw just the clip of it or the screenshot, and he said, I can't watch this. You know, he didn't watch it for a week, he said, or, you know, like he said from the picture, I can already tell what was happening. And then when he starts to go into detail and he tells the story about, what was it, his father, right, on his deathbed, right? And he called out for his mom. And he said he had only seen that one time. That shit was chilling. Like I was like, I just was like, it hit. There was, you could hear a pin drop in that crowd when he was telling that story. And I think that it just makes it all the more hurtful, you know, like when you start to think of it like that way too. Like, you know, like he himself, right? Who's somebody who's been, you know, with the shits on everything, has always in his way brought attention to the situation with humor. He himself felt the way that we sort of felt when it came to it too, and I think that's more telling than anything. So, like, when I was ashamed of the way that I felt about it, but now, not that I'm not ashamed because I still am, but more people felt the same way about it, like when it happened, and it's more telling than anything to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I that was the part that really like stuck with me, like when I heard it, you know, and I listened to that part, and it was just like, man, like, you know, shit is crazy, man. Like that doesn't, you know, like he's like 8 minutes and 46 seconds, like when he's saying it, you know, like when you hear about it, when you think about it, like again, we talked about it. Hold your breath for 45 seconds.
Yeah, man.
Let's see how that goes, man. Like, so, did you have any other favorite parts from it or anything like that, or?
I particularly like what he said to Don Lemon, and I've expressed the same sort of thing about how I felt about Don Lemon talking about more black celebrities coming forward and saying something about it. And Chappelle hits that shit right on the head. It's like, first of all, we know who Chappelle is, right? So I like how he frames it in the beginning. He's like, I was just waiting for that nigga to say my name. Like, say my name, nigga, right? Because you know he's gonna go in on you about it. But to say that, it's kind of strange, and it like makes you wonder, like, what are you thinking when you go on CNN and say that? Like, we are black people, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know how we feel. Like, Dave Chappelle don't gotta open his mouth for me to know how he feels.
Correct.
Like, Kendrick doesn't.
The same thing. I was just about to say that. The same thing.
We know how they feel, bro. Well, I want to know, like, we were for a while kind of confused on how Don Lemon felt. Like, Don Lemon's changing his tune this time around, but he wasn't so great during Ferguson. During Ferguson, he's like, you guys shouldn't be tearing this stuff up, and it smells like weed out here, and I ain't forget none of that shit. And I'm sure Talib Kweli didn't forget any of that shit. Talib was about to rip Don Lemon's head off in Ferguson.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Right. So it's nice that Don Lemon's learning, however late it is in his life, because he's older than me.
Well, better late than never.
Better late than never. But to be calling out black celebrities when you were looking crazy 4 years ago is wild. And Chappelle pointed that out, and I like that he did that.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. I really didn't.
That was just wild to me, man. I also like when Chappelle's like, you know, like black people are not like desperate for heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going out there and saying George is not a hero. Like, we looking for heroes. Chappelle's like, yo, like any nigga that survives this shit is a hero to me. And like, I mean, it's exactly what I was trying to get across in Ronald Reagan Rich, where I'm like, real black people are more heroic than T'Challa. It's like, just being out here, bro, and maneuvering the way that we do, and being in spaces where shit could go crazy anytime. And we live up north, bro. Like
Yeah,
I've
and
been
we're in
in
a bubble
scenes in
ourselves.
New York City, bro, and I ain't feel safe. And I got called crazy shit, and we had to fight our way out of there. Like, I mean,
That's the
Chappelle
thing
said
with
some
us
really
up here.
compelling
You're
shit.
right about that. You're right about that. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. You're right about that. About being up here. Like it does. It. I know it sounds crazy because you see all these crazy videos coming out from the protests up here and things like that. But we're in a bubble, sort of, when it comes to that stuff. Like it's still happening, but it doesn't happen on the grand scales that it does down south or like
Right.
in Midwest America. Like it's happening everywhere, but it
Yep.
doesn't happen as maybe I shouldn't say that because somebody
But,
will point out
but you
like
know what? But
whatever.
you know what? But people feel it everywhere. Like even when it's not happening to you regularly, like you're not feeling the blatant pressure on your neck regularly, it still exists. Like it's still in your head everywhere you go. And to make it out of that shit sane is it's fucking heroic, man. Like white people don't have to feel that. Like you don't have to like be outside playing basketball and see a squad car roll through and freeze for a split second. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not in bars and you're like the one person in the bar that feels different and you have to calculate everything you do for the night.
Right. See, oh man, like you see, this is why the conversation will continue. Like, there's the next layer. That's a layer. Like, I've never thought of that either. Too. Like, even as much as I admitted in the last episode, I've never thought about like with that last part what you said about like having to calculate your moves, like having to worry about how you ask for the bartender. Like being a different type of way. Like how are you, sir? Like that's like you have to like try to like be extra polite. White people would say some crazy shit to a bartender, like
Yeah,
fuck over here, get me a drink or whatever.
yeah,
They'll probably tell them to chill, but they'll probably come right over and pour their drink. Like,
right. But it's extra aggressive on me. The same
right,
exact words, same exact tone.
right, exactly, exactly. But I think with what he did right there, that's his like like you said, but Chappelle's been about it, but I think this is like his moment right now. Like he felt compelled to do this. People sat there and listened, and it was raw, it was real, it was compelling, like, as usual, man. Like, I mean, his none of his stand-ups are trash. Like, like he's doing something that, I don't know, Eddie's never done. Like Rich has never
Right.
done probably. Like it might be time to like talk about him in that way because of
I,
his social awareness.
yeah. I grew up, bro. My parents used to listen to Richard Pryor on on a record player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wasn't supposed to like hear the shit. You know what I'm saying? And I would like sneak and put my ear out and shit and listen to it. And Richard Pryor is a goat.
Yeah,
There's no ifs, ands, or buts
for
about
sure,
it.
for
But
sure.
Chappelle is the goat, bro.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. And I think again, the social awareness is what puts him up over. Like he never really went into movies. Like like Eddie went right to movies. He stopped doing stand up. Richard Pryor was in movies. He did stand up in between those things. But remember, Richard Pryor was dealing with some whole other shit, man.
Yeah,
Like I don't think people remember that like Richard Pryor doused himself in rum and lit himself on fire.
yeah, man.
Um, and I was reading because you know that they took down Gone with the Wind, right? Because of the slavery themes and everything.
Yeah,
Okay. So people in turn who are mad at that idea, which I don't care. Listen, whatever. Gone with the Wind is some cinematic masterpiece that somebody will tell me. I ain't never seen that shit. I don't gotta see that shit. I'm good. And I love film. This was before this. I love film. Like I watch
yeah,
movies for like those. Like I watched, like The Lighthouse, and I watch all those movies. Like I watch them because I understand that there's more artistic things to it. But I'm good on that movie.
Fuck at the Lighthouse too, but let's not
Yeah,
talk
thank
about
you. No. Whoa, thank you. I 2 minutes. We can talk about that. What happens at the end there? I just looked at it. I was like, what did I just watch? I've been sitting here this whole time waiting for this some sort of payoff. Look, I will tell you 2 things about that movie. It's beautifully shot.
Yes.
There are 2 amazing actors in that movie. Both of them were amazing. Pattinson and Dafoe. The movie is shit though. I don't get it. Like, explain it to me. Someone explain it to me. Am I dumb?
No, bro. Sometimes art films just fucking just go off the rails, and that shit off the rails.
I'm so happy. Thank you, yo. Like, we are definitely friends. Thank you so much. I thought it was just me because I hate when I bring shit like that up when people like we talk. Well, what? You don't get it. I'm like, what the fuck don't I get, bro? Like explain it to me, man. Like this one, it don't make no sense.
There was nothing there, bro.
All right, cool. As long as I, don't feel crazy for that, I'm good. All right, but yeah, God damn it, I don't even know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love film too, but like I wouldn't be fucking mad if Gone with the Wind was fucking burned and there was no more copies of it. Like, whatever.
Thank you. You got me right back. So Gone with the Wind is gone. So people were like, oh, well, then you need to take down Blazing Saddles. I was like, bro, have you watched Blazing Saddles? Do you understand what yo, like, you must be really fucking stupid, man. Like, oh, God, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
I want to hear where the white women at for the rest of my motherfucking life.
Yo, you know what? That got people tight, and I think I just want to do a rewatch. If I can give some people some residual income just based off of my little stream on HBO Max or whatever the fuck it is. HBO Max, HBO Go, HBO Now. I don't know what the fuck any of that shit is. It's got to be one thing. Like, get it together. But yeah, it got my dad to talking about Richard Pryor, and he was like, I don't fuck with that movie because he wrote it. They didn't give him credit, and and I was like, let me go fact check this real quick. I fact checked it, and he did write it. They gave him credit, but they said that was around the time that he was like heavy on drugs and shit, and he would do wild shit on set, man. Like him and Gene Wilder looked like they had this like chemistry. And it's like they did on screen, but off screen, that shit was crazy. Like the way they would just be like not talking to each other and how that shit just works.
Yeah.
But what I found out, and we can put a cap on it, is this: Trading Places is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I can watch that shit. That's a Christmas movie, but I can watch that shit at any time. Yeah. It was supposed to be Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor set himself on fire, and then that was it. It was Eddie and Dan Aykroyd after that. I did not know that. I did not know that.
That's news to me too.
Yeah, my father was like, "Oh, I knew that" or whatever. I was like, "That's before the internet, though. That's the '80s. Like, y'all, how did y'all get that shit? Like, fucking SOS or no? What is it? Fucking Morse code." All right. Damn. So yeah, Chappelle, GOAT. I'm probably with you on that, man.
Yeah, man.
All right. Eminem tweeted. So we were talking about Eminem, and we kind of segued. We went around it or whatever, but we did talk about it because one of the guys that we mentioned, Andre 3000, was mentioned. So do you want to read the tweet real quick? Because I don't have it pulled up. You got it pulled up?
Yeah.
All right.
So a tweet went out about who is the greatest rapper of all time, and the tweet was DM'd to a whole bunch of rappers. People got shocked that Eminem actually responded to it.
So it's actually him. It's not someone working a social media account.
Look, I don't know.
I think it's him.
But it seems like him because it looks like what I've heard Eminem say before.
Right, and he doesn't tweet nothing. Like he doesn't tweet at all or whatever. So
right.
Like if you actually see a tweet from him, it's probably him.
Right. It's a little bit of a shift from what like I've heard him say a couple times, but then it shifts a little bit all the time, but they're like some of the same main players there. So he says for me, in no particular order, it's a toss-up between Wayne, Pac, Royce, Hove, Redman, Tretch, Coogee Rap, Biggie, and King Crooked.
I'll tell you the one name that jumps out at me right away that I'm super surprised is on there. Tretch.
Yeah.
Off the rip. For me, I'm not saying that it's a like he's trash. I'm not saying that. I'm just surprised that Eminem is, saying him, because I think is something that is very interesting to me, because all those other guys, pretty much, if you brought everybody else up on, like, and you were like, oh, whatever, what's your 10, you probably get some of those guys in the same order. That was the one that jumped out at me right away.
Right.
And you're absolutely right about the others, because you can tell that he did. He always said that about Redman. He's always said that, and in songs he said those things. So yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the Tretch one was the one that jumped out at me right away.
So I know from Eminem's past statements that Naughty by Nature's like Yoke the Joker completely like fucked him up. Like he wanted to rap. He heard Yoke the Joker when that album came out, when Naughty dropped that album. Mm-hmm. And that first opening Tretch verse just made him like throw all his fucking rhymes out and start over. And I think you look at Tretch and Redman being on his list, and it like makes sense how he showed up in Newark and like start like fucking with the Outsiders and Maintain One and Rod Digger and Young Z and all that shit. It makes sense, right?
Right.
But that's odd too, right? Like somebody like in Detroit like dug like these rappers and shit and like kind of made like a pilgrimage to Jersey to like sharpen skills. That's some pretty odd shit. I mean,
too, like it's dismissed, like, and it's not thought of.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know how or why.
Because it's Jersey.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. So yeah, I mean, the only thing here, right, that's kind of like switched up for me is I never heard Crooked Eye on this list, but I guess it makes sense at this point.
Yeah.
And that happens, right? Like you add rappers on, like I've done that. Like Kendrick obviously wasn't always in my top, right?
Right. Cole wouldn't have been there too. I mean, and Kendrick and Cole are in there, so
yeah, he went on and added LL, Nas, Kendrick, Cole, Andre 3000, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and Joyner Lucas.
That's all right. So he can rap, that kid, for sure. He can rap.
Yeah.
Very well. That's a bit much.
To add him into your top.
Yeah. So again, what's the discussion? Because I think the discussion is pure lyricism. Maybe you gotta claim to him, because you know his shit better than me. Not you, him.
Right.
There's plenty of rappers I could think that probably would deserve to be on that same tier with all those guys, and would easily, in any way, I'm talking about like longevity, everything, discography, would easily be ahead of Joyner Lucas. So I'm a little bit interested on that one. That one I don't agree with I 100% do not agree with that one. No disrespect to him, because the kid can really fucking rap. Like, I'm not even like joking or whatever. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I listen to his shit, but every time I hear him on something, or whether one of his songs come up like on like when I'm listening through shuffle, I always say, man, that kid can fucking rap, and he can.
Yeah.
He got Will Smith on that remix, so the joint for that's cool, man. It's the kid can rap. That's it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that one, I mean, there's plenty of guys that I would probably like have a shot to put in there like before him, But again, that's his opinion. So that's the beautiful thing. Like, there's a lot of guys that get overlooked, for other people. And then, you got to think of like recency bias too, because he's new, he's out here, so.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't agree with it.
But you get like OG that can rap his ass off and has been rapping his ass off, which is Tretch, and Tretch is often not in people's lists. So
that's what I was saying. Exactly. It was a shock to see it there. Not that it doesn't make sense. It reminded me, and I was just like, it's when you talk about 10, and then you start to think about the entire culture, like you're not about to nail it down to 10. Like how?
No,
You know, like that's just gonna come down to preference. That's it. That's all it is. Like it won't. There'll be no way to like check everybody's 10 and it will all be the same. You know.
Right, right.
But that's the beautiful thing.
That was pretty interesting, man. I just like to see like a slightly different list. You know what I mean?
Perspective, you know, and like you said, it almost feels like, you know, Jersey gets a little disrespected. You know, they're like people just, you know, kind of dismiss, you know, they kind of, you know, whatever. We're always tied to like, you know, Joe Budden and shit, and it's like people forget that like Redman and you know, and other rappers.
People forget a lot, bro. Like people like we go on tangents, right, about female rappers all the time.
Mm.
All the time. And people act like Lauren and Latifah didn't bar people down.
Right.
And like Rod Digger didn't bar
Digger, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
damn, what song did I Digger Digger, first name Rod Digger. Yo, oh man, I used to love those albums that like there was a few joints on that Flip Mode album that I liked or whatever, but for the most part, like I listened to Cha 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 like a bunch or whatever. Yeah, but that's why I remember that one. I love those albums that like I'm like I don't even really like a bunch of songs on this shit, but I keep the CD just so like when I want to go to it, I'm like, all right, boom, like let's play the song.
I like you know what one of my favorite random albums is?
But yeah, this is great.
That first Violator compilation.
Yo,
bro.
All right. So I'm gonna go even more random because it's in the same lane, and I just got reminded of it the other day. But I did love that album. I haven't heard it in a while, and now I think I'm going to listen to that. And I'm glad that you told me that. I forgot about that one. What I came across was I think Ludacris when they were doing the battle, he was on live with LL, and he played an unreleased LL verse on Fatty Girl, and I was like, wait a minute. FUBU made an album.
Yo, bro, I'm about to play what's that? 50 Niggas Deep, bro.
See, that's the beauty of hip hop, because then you remember that, you know, because that song was crazy, and that was Keith Murray's like renaissance too, if you remember, because he was like
welcoming Keith Murray back.
Right, he was on that, and then what was the other one? She looked like a movie star.
Oh, the talking bar. Oh.
But Keith Murray was back for a little bit, you know, like he got the, you know, he had the sample game, like he was in a formula at that point, right? Because that song sounded similar, and he got the sample, and that was what was in it. And you know what? I listened to that song for a while. I thought that shit was dope. I don't give a fuck. The most beautifulest thing in this world is probably one of my favorite songs in the world. I don't listen to that song at all, but anytime that I hear it, it's just perfect. Like
it's a classic though.
Yeah. All right. Damn, I'm old. Yeah. Oh wait, I can't even do the fucking speaker without for the soundbite. All right. So yeah, the Eminem thing was really interesting. I would just disagree with the Joyner Lucas thing, and I would disagree, I just was surprised to see the Treach thing there. I was very surprised to see that. But everybody else has pretty much got a claim there, I think. Especially, and this is what we'll end it with, I think. Royce, man. I think that for a long time, like people don't want to have these sort of discussions, but I'm here for them. Royce the 5'9" is a better rapper than Eminem, and let me explain to you a little bit more. Why? His stories, the way he puts his verses together and everything, like it's more compelling sometimes. Sometimes Eminem just raps a bunch of words and shit, and it's impressive because people can't do it with that cadence at that rate. You can't, and I understand that. But when a song hits me closer is because Royce is still being as lyrical, telling me a story, and I'm feeling that shit the whole way. Like, and the dude does not stop being one of the better rappers. Like, he just doesn't. And anything that he's on, he bodies. He's the only person that could rap with him. That him and Eminem album, I will make the case that Royce the 5'9", I'll rap Eminem on there, and I'll have a discussion with anybody on that.
Yeah, man. Royce has, first of all, bro, I had a conversation with somebody. I was like, I never thought I would see the day that I listened and liked Royce the 5'9" more than Eminem. I never thought I would see the fucking day. And he'll admit it. Rhinestone Royce was
What, you want
Rhinestone.
cowboy hat and shit? Yeah, I mean, look, man, look, everybody, look. That's to me, that's a label maneuvered moment for him right there.
Yeah, but
Like, yeah,
but there were songs, right, that were crazy, right? Like Boom, right? Classic,
shit,
right?
shit.
But there are, you could tell it's like him a little off his game on them albums. Probably still trying to figure out his place in those albums. In recent years, bro, it's nothing to figure out, bro. He like everything is intentional. Everything is solid, cohesive. There's no wasted verses. There's no songs that are just like about some random bullshit.
Right. The filler songs. That Book of Ryan album, I feel like nobody, like, it's just you let that shit come and go, and you guys didn't listen to that shit.
Bro, this is a fantastic run, bro.
Yes.
Book of Ryan, the Prime albums.
Yeah. Oh man.
An Allegory, bro.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How are you pumping out?
I think that's what really helped him is like, all right, so you tried to do him in a way where you were like, okay, we want to try to make him a star like Eminem. Didn't work. Unfortunately, he got to kind of cast aside in front of the public eye. But when you get right and you just become yourself and you just put out whatever's in your heart, that shit, again, that's always going to be more impactful than whatever a label is trying to fucking give you. Like, you'll have those people that labels give you, like, with all marketing and everything, and you get into it or whatever. But the music supersedes that, man, to me. Like, and it's just too good, and it's been too great for a while. Like I said, he was on an album with Eminem, and I will argue that he out-rapped Eminem on that album.
He rapped his ass off on Bad Meets Evil. Like, seriously.
Bar exams, go back, do all the bar exams. Like the best Royce to me is him on other people's beats, because then I don't want to hear the old person on it no more. That's when, remember we had that discussion about, okay, if you're gonna do this beat, you better make sure that I don't want to hear the other person that was on it. Okay. He took that fresher joint, that wait a minute shit, and he fucking washed that shit. That's it. It's done. I can't hear that shit the other way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good discussion. I like that. It's always good to, discuss. And then you got to remember, like you said, with the time, man, we're going to be adding people in and out of this shit, it's fluid, clearly. There's no way to nail down 10. It's just pretty much who's your favorite.
Yeah.
All right. What are we finishing up with here? I listened to Ready to Die today, right before we did this shit, because I was going to tell you. And I also want to stop yelling out that there's fucking anniversaries. You know why? Because I got to fact check myself. First of all, Ready to Die came out in 1994. That ain't no 25 fucking years to 20, so.
Yeah.
And that shit came out in September.
Yeah.
Something I saw on fucking Instagram was about, maybe it was like the first single, whatever. Fuck all that. We still listen to it, even if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, look, we already said this back a while ago when we started talking, when the Chronic started going off, and I think we were when we had Chris on, we started talking about Biggie again.
Right.
And we were like, yeah, we need to revisit this album, so it was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, it was. So, and I don't give a fuck. It would give me an excuse to listen. You know what I did, bro? I listened to that shit right before we got on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just sat, and oh my God, man. This is clearly anybody that is really from anywhere would probably have this album in their top 5. For me, it's a top 3 album, and it might not be 3. I don't know what it is about this album that I connect with so much. Maybe it was because it was one of the first albums that I ever got, and I got it for the wrong reason. My brother, who introduced me to hip-hop, he bought Ready to Die for the Method Man verse. He didn't even like Biggie. He was that much into Wu-Tang at that time, right? Because you got to remember, this is a different time. Youngsters, look at me in the camera. We didn't have that shit in a phone or nothing like that. Like you either had to like tape it from somebody else's house or you just had to have the CD.
Yeah.
So my brother bought Ready to Die for the what? Method Man's verse on there. God, I fucking love that song. God,
Yeah.
I love this album. So I got this album unintentionally. My brother didn't like Biggie. My brother doesn't like Biggie. Let's just even get further into it. Doesn't like Biggie. But that goes to show you, like, the person who influences you to like, the culture, it doesn't mean that you have to follow everything.
Right.
I love Wu-Tang because of him. I do. And I love a lot of other things because of him. But there's no convincing me any way that when you hear Ready to Die, that you don't understand that this is something that's going to be, like, around forever. And it is. And it still is. It's still just as good as the day I heard it. I still know 95% of all the lyrics on all these songs, even the songs that I don't look. Let's just get it out the way. I don't want to hear Juicy again in my life. I don't need to hear Big Papa, One More Chance. That's fine though. If I'm in a function and you play it, cool, man. We gonna rock with it. But I don't need to hear it. I could go on and on about it. I just, did you get a chance to like re-listen to it, like before we did this and.
Yeah, man, I had to. I mean, it was a excuse to re-listen to it, man.
That's what I said. That's what I was like, you know what? There's my excuse.
Now, I mean, I took a ride and shit and threw it on. Bro, first of all, bro, the production is it's so incredible and so slappy, bro. Like, the windows are down and people literally like look at you at this point and like give you like the nod of approval for playing this shit.
Goddamn right.
Like
I'll be like, yo, anywhere if I heard that shit right now, I'll be like, wow, like because you don't hear it. You don't hear people running around listening to it.
I was on Give Me the Loop, bro. And somebody was like, all right, like I'm like, yo, it's 2020, bro.
Yo, Give Me the Loop. I fucking love that song. Like I didn't even listen to the album today. This is it. This is your like, okay, nerd out moment, whatever for me, definitely. I was putting my laundry away within like the day that I brought it back, which is like an accomplishment, bro. Like putting it away or whatever. And I immediately, goodness gracious, the paper, where the cash at? I know the whole shit. I know the whole song. Like and like I couldn't believe that I haven't heard this song in probably maybe a year. Like I do a Ready to Die listen probably once a year. Like on a long drive and just enjoy it, Not that I can't listen to it more, but because so much stuff is out, and I try to recoup everything. That one's always good in my book. That one's, again, the top 3, might not be number 3 or whatever album for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the production, like, bro, Premiere on Unbelievable.
Yo, let's talk about the unsung person.
Right.
Easy Mo B, bro. Yeah. God damn, bro.
So it's that, like, those are moments like when you like, please don't watch Notorious. Well, you know what? You could watch Notorious and see some things that probably were, actually factual or whatever. Like, I'm not a fan of that movie. I love it because they did music and Gravy was perfect.
Right.
That shit was scary.
Yeah.
But that's magic, yo. Like that's like that can't be recaptured. Like it doesn't matter what year you bring all that together. That's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's more like the mythology of Big, unfortunately because he's not around, too, that makes this album feel more like, and it'll always feel like, because we only really got 2 albums from Biggie, 3 discs of just like, I don't know that anybody has a run like that.
Bro, like, it's another thing we forget about Big is like, this is a short period of time, bro. Yes. We talking, a fucking album came out in 94. He's gone in 97. we have Life After Death, the double disc. We have Ready to Die. 2 remarkable albums. In between that, you have Junior Mafia and Lil Kim that
And
he
any
hasn't put
feature
together.
any feature that he's on, it's just again, we need to have a discussion about like time periods, and you're talking about a time from this year to this year where this man was flawless. Not a bar missed, not a verse taken off. Every song was dope. I don't know that there's anybody that has ever done it on a scale that long for like 3 years like that. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
yeah.
don't know. I'd have to think about it. And it's not easy to think about it.
No,
Jay-Z
it's
doesn't
not.
have that. Blueprint 1 was preceded by Blueprint 2, and it's not, well, maybe Jay's got a claim to it, like there's times, well, I know because every song's not dope. Like, I'm not
Here's
gonna
the
sit here.
thing. If we were to compare what Jay did in a 3-year span to what Biggie did in a 3-year span, the best you could probably do is Hard Knock Life. Is that 98? I'm just saying.
I can't. Now
I'm
I
just
can't.
saying. If we do
You know,
98 to 01.
you know why I can't? Because I love, like, Jay-Z, Jay-Z's music is Jay-Z music. He's my favorite. I get it. Volume 3 is like an album that like has got its peaks, but it's got its valleys. Like, especially considering
Right.
now in 2020. So
But
I
what's
don't feel like, again,
most flawless 3 years?
that's hard.
I
That's
know.
hard. He might be. I'm gonna say something. He might be right now, in that moment right now, right? The JLEC tape. The Carter's is 2 years old today. 444. He's taking every single little guest feature that he gets and stepping on them shits. It's just because Blueprint has Blueprint 2 behind it. Reasonable Doubt has In My Lifetime 1. And we know that those albums aren't on par with each other. That's the problem, is that Biggie went classic to classic to classic. Do you know how many people probably have done back-to-back classics? Like, you might be able to make an argument for It Was Written, but I feel like that's a weaker case with Illmatic.
Yeah.
That's a weaker case for
Yeah.
sure than Life After Death and Ready to Die.
Yeah.
That's tough.
For
That's
sure.
tough.
If you're going back-to-back classic, the only person come off the top of my head is Lupe Fiasco.
Lupe or X, if you want to do Darkest Hell is Hot
I
and Flesh of My
personally
Flesh.
think his second album's a classic, but people fight me on that.
Flesh of My Flesh.
Yeah.
No, that one actually.
People
That one's
fight me on
better
that.
than Is Dark to me. All right, now I'm gonna get into hot take territory. That album is better to me. That's a more well-rounded DMX.
Yeah.
Is Dark.
Yes.
I feel. Okay, it's not just me then. Cool, you out here with me. We about to get killed on the
But
internet.
people fight me for that all the time, bro.
No, I don't think that. You know what? It might be DMX, right? So DMX at that time, As Dark as Hell is Hot, Rough Riders 1, Flesh of My Flesh, every single feature. X has a claim to that. It's still not on the scale of big. It's just because Life After Death, you can have Life After Death and Ready to Die in your same top 5. Like, if you wanted to have both those albums in your top 5, I would not fight you. I'm not fighting.
Right.
That's hard.
And again, I mean, it's an argument that people might not like, but Hardcore is a landmark female rap album, and Big laid a lot of those references down, so we know how much his pen was going off in those 3 years.
Biggie didn't miss.
No.
I think that's what I learned today. Okay.
And in the middle of that, gave Shaq one of his a song
that is the shit. I love that song.
That song is incredible.
That's crazy.
And let's talk about the song he gave Tracy Lee in the middle of that. Come on, fam.
It's any Biggie record, like yo, and then it don't matter who you are, because he was taking on, like when he put Bone Thugs on the song or whatever. God, man, you know what? That's one of those songs that I don't have to hear again. It's just because in my area, and anybody who listens to this pod that's from Hoboken, you understand that song was played way too much out of people's speakers and things like that, and it got way too far. You have to remember, like Biggie dropped and did like, I want to fact check this, but like it was like 850,000, like, and every fucking body, you had the 2 tapes or you had the 2 discs. You're in barbershops, that shit's always on. You're moving around, it's on. Like that was the, and it just comes on the heels of his death. Like it was just like a fever pitch at that point, and it was, and then the music is flawless, and then it makes you feel more sad. The question is this, and this is good conversation, and I want to keep it going. The question is this: would it be possible for him to sustain that sort of same level of excellence? Because what we just talked about is probably a 4-year stretch, right? That's hard. Nobody's done that. Imagine doing it for like another 2 years, another 4 years. Like, is that possible? Like, what do you like? Would he have like? That's always a discussion that people say when people say that Big's the GOAT, is that the sample size is too small, right? But you have to think about it. Nobody's ever dominated in the way that he has,
right,
at that time. Right, even the longer rappers, But I mean, it's just an interesting like conversation. You always just have to think about what the criteria is, what you're judging on, But that's a pretty good argument for Big, honestly. It really is, man. That stretch is untouched for them.
Yeah.
Like maybe Wu-Tang has a stretch like that because they had solo album after solo album. That's a good discussion too.
Right.
That's a good discussion, but that's a collective.
That's a collective. That's people branching out.
Right. So like to have 36 Chambers, and then to have Tikal, and then to have Cuban Links, and then to have, Liquid Swords, kind of all in the same spot. Like those are all the and Iron Man. How the fuck could I forget or whatever? Those are the ones that I kind of lumped together as like the first wave of Wu-Tang albums, right?
Right.
And then when you get to the Wu-Tang Forever era, is the way that I want to call it, I guess, is that then you start to see the cracks in other people's discographies, except for Ghostface. That's it.
The only person point for me is just like, it's really just Ghost's run.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that discussion either. I was just trying to see like that first wave though. If we want to compare excellence, maybe that Wu-Tang era, because RZA is probably doing all of those beats and things like that, and it's like those dudes weren't missing at that point. But Biggie's one guy.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good discussion, and that's kind of what I started to think about, like when it came to Ready to Die, man. Like it's never gonna be bad for me. Like the same way my father used to listen to Marvin Gaye albums in the '90s. It's just like that's what it's gonna be forever. Like it's just gonna be like that.
And it's like rare, bro. Like we said about the Chronic, where you get these rap albums that really feel like films, bro. Like.
I'm glad you brought that up, because even hearing the sketches, like, oh shit, you got a red dot on your head. Oh shit, like he's already drawn you in with the story, and then that's like that shit with the skits and everything. It does sound like a movie, and that was something else that I appreciated.
The intro with him like being born and like robbing the train and and then going into things done changed with his. He starts off with his mother being sick, right, and like them not having money, so where it's going,
right?
Like
then the end, like, and then it's just so it's still like I feel like now I'm more aware of it, like the thought process for the last song. What the fuck is it called? I can't even like.
Suicidal Thoughts.
Yeah, Suicidal Thoughts. Correct. Yeah. I know
like a perfect way to end the fucking album.
Right, and it's just like, holy shit, man. It's like he just took you through everything, right? He just took you through it all, right? That's why everybody's first album is usually the one that's the best, right? You've been waiting your whole life to tell your story, right? And tell it in the way that you want it, and he did it in such a way. The problem is that it's too eerie to listen to, like
Yeah.
somebody talk about it, you know, like, and then have it happen so soon. Like you can tell he's painfully aware of something, right?
Yeah.
And he lived his life probably looking around his shoulder. That's why he didn't really want problems with people. Like he always
Yep.
tried to diffuse everything. It's just
Yep.
you can tell that this was something that's preoccupied in his mind. It's called Ready to Die. The second album was already called Life After Death. You know,
Right.
like he already had all the shit planned out, you know, like I think that's a little bit more that I'm starting to like take in, like damn, you know, this is giving you a glimpse into his mind, which that cannot be easy to deal with thinking about shit like that, man, like at all. And it's just interesting. Like now that I'm a little bit older, that I get it now. Like to me, when I was a kid, that shit just sounded good.
Right.
You know, and the bars were fucking crazy. That's it. Like, but when you're older and you start to really dissect what he must have been thinking the entire time that he made this album, you know, like these are all regular thoughts that he's had in his mind,
Yeah.
and this was something that he dealt with for a long time, all the way up until his untimely demise.
Yeah. I mean, we could put this up there with I mean, if somebody want to go ahead and make a list of mental health awareness rap, this
is it right here, honestly. You know, like there's highs, there's lows, there's valleys, there's peaks, and then it ends with what it ends with, you know, and most of the time it ends with, you know, sometimes well, not most of the time, I'm not gonna say that, but some of the times it ends with somebody reaching out to you at the end, trying to get you to to get them to stop, you know, and then just telling you the story, and it's just it's chilling the way that shit ends, man. It really does. But I understand what he's like talking about, you know, like if you know, like we talked about it last time, everybody sins differently, right? So, but like some people take that shit differently, man. Like, you know, you fucked up, it really eats them up for, you know, like you don't know what's in somebody's mind, what somebody values, you know, and things like that. So it's just, yeah, it's just interesting. Like I thought I walked away from it listening to it again, like right before, just like with a new perspective on it too. And that's what good art is, right? Like it's the idea that we can listen to something. The whole time that I listened to this shit, I listened to it because it was just dope. And I got some of it. Now that I'm 35 and I listen to it, I got something else out of it. It's all open for interpretation, and I feel like it just hits a little bit different now.
yeah.
Even if it's way past the 25th anniversary, which I tried to make it seem like it was. Yo, when I looked this shit up, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that math don't add up at all. I was like, this shit. Fuck Instagram. That's it. When you be fucking around looking on the explore page or whatever, like that's the shit that'll get you in trouble. You start quoting that shit. That's definitely fake news. Bullshit. Yo, I wanted to tell you, I got to listen to your bonus songs that you put out. They're up on Tidal. I like them shits, man. Like, that's not gonna be anywhere near what you guys are doing for this next joint, you yourself, or because it does seem to be from the same sessions. I'll tell you that. That's the shit that I gathered from it. Like you told me.
Right.
It does seem to be like, you know, these are all sessions and these are the songs that made it, but they still are dope. Like it just that's what people don't understand about creating. Just because I didn't pick a song for a project doesn't mean that I don't like it. It just means that it didn't fit. You know, it doesn't mean the shit's not dope. I like it, but it'll fit somewhere else better. And that's what people don't understand about creatives. I got it immediately though.
Right. I mean, yeah, because you know, I had all these beats and I had all these thoughts, right? And then, like, at one moment, the album was going to go this way. So I was like, oh, shit, like, in between this song and this song, let me put this song in there about fucking, right? and then, like...
I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, hold on. I didn't listen to that song with my daughter in the car.
But I think by the title, you knew, right?
Yeah, I did. I was like, I'm
Elliott,
dropping off real quick and I'm gonna listen. Like even like looking at the first track list, I'm like Young Akinelli. I was like, up. I was like, I think I'm gonna listen to this one by myself.
But you know, like as we like narrowed it down and focused, and like once I had like Ronald Reagan Rich, then it was like, oh, maybe I should go this way with it. So yeah, let's just trim it. Like people need to know when to trim and when to edit.
Right.
And it was like, we'll just throw these out later for people to enjoy them differently. You know.
That's dope. I like it, man. I was really happy. I got a chance while I was getting twisted or whatever. Like I was, I was listening to it or whatever. So yeah, it was good. By the water, it was really nice. Had that fucking lemonade and vodka, and like it was hitting right. It was perfect, man.
Dope.
Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about, so the guys that we did the battle with, if you guys aren't aware, they actually make their own music. If you guys don't know, and they just
Yeah.
put out a dope song too. That Muse shit is dope, man. I think that Jay and Rich killed that shit, man. I sent them a text saying, so like I listened to it. It's dope, man. Way to go, guys. If you guys are listening, listen to it. You can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's Ben and the song's called Muse. That shit is dope. I like it. It's a perfect summer song. If we had outside, that shit would be fucking perfect, bro. But nah, that shit is dope, man. I just wanted to shout them out because those guys are always supportive of the show and everything too.
And they are really dope, man. I'm like on the lookout still to this day for something that's going like that feels right for us to collab on, man.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the good thing about them too, is that they cool. They just scared to battle again because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I think the first one we kind of smoked their boots real quick, and they don't want to battle again, but I was like, we could do the Rockefeller Rough Riders one or whatever, and y'all could pick it. We don't even gotta do the coin flip. I'll take whatever side, and we'll make a compelling case. I guarantee you that.
Like talking shit now.
I mean, I had so much fun. I kind of got hyped for the thing. You know what I mean? Like, did we win that one, yo? Like, you tell me. Like, now we're talking because I see both sides. Like our side, like everybody, like when I put it up, they all voted for us, and that made sense. Y'all are my people. Then when we looked on his shit, he was like, look, and they like overwhelmingly voted for them. I'm like, yo, did we low key get washed, yo? Like, what happened? Like, I thought we played it perfectly.
I mean, I thought we did a good job too, man. But
I think we did too, man. It all depends though. Yeah, like I talked to Jay about it. Jay was like, "Oh, come on, man." He was like, "You know how it's gonna be. Your side is gonna," and it's true.
Yeah.
It was. You check some of the YouTube comments, and they like, "Damn, you so disrespectful with this record." And talk about that. I'm like, "Damn, yo, we getting washed, yo."
But that shit was a lot of fun, man.
No, it was. I want to do another one. I'm gonna send them this clip on the internet and show them that, like I'm gonna show them the first part and not give them any context. Like, so in the beginning, it's just gonna be me like, yo, they scared, papa. They don't want to smoke. Like, ain't even talk about it like it's on some friendly shit at all. All right, you got anything else to promote, bro? I think we're good, man.
Nah.
This is fun, man. I'm happy that we at least are starting to get back to, something that's a little bit more lighthearted, at least, so if you come to us for a distraction, we should be that at least a little bit, right? Yeah. So what you got? The bonus joints are out there. That's on whatever streaming platform you want. So if you haven't gotten Trill Dollar, that's already on streaming sites. If you want to hear the new songs, they should be in the same thing. You just have to look them up. Trilly Trills with no Z.
Yeah, man. Oh, my brother Prince Out gonna kill me, man, if I don't say go stream In the Clouds, man. Please.
That shit's dope too. I was gonna say that shit is dope too, man. And he had the other joint with the that you were promoting on there too. That's dope, man. If you
Make Change. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is dope. I'm not gonna lie. I like that shit a lot. So yeah, I mean, I don't got shit to promote. I'm just like here doing this shit or whatever. Hopefully I get back to work or whatever. But yo, for Jay, for Trills, we out of here.
Yeah.